Do you think you can be grateful for 30 days straight? It's an interesting challenge and one I take every year during the month of November. And it has truly changed the way I feel about the holidays and a lot of other things as well. Join me and we can take on this challenge together to see how it changes your perspective on the holiday season and life in general. Hello, my lovelies, and welcome to the Moving Toward Better podcast. I'm your host, Karen Bemis, and today we're talking about the benefits of gratitude and how it can improve your life in every way. Before we dive in, I want to make it clear that what I'm about to share are my experiences from my own life and what I learned along the way. Your situation may be different, and this is no substitute for financial, medical, or mental health intervention if your situation warrants it. This podcast is designed to help people understand themselves and others better based on their personalities and more. It is not intended to diagnose or treat any mental or physical condition. If you suspect you or a family member is at risk of physical or mental harm, please seek proper medical help immediately. For those who are new to the podcast, when I talk about personalities, communication, and relationships, I use the DISC personality model of behavior and refer to people as D or driven, I or inspired, S or supportive, and C or cautious. You can find links to take your own personality assessment in the show notes. So let's get started. According to an article by Positive Psychology called 14 Benefits of Practicing Gratitude, the benefits of gratitude are many and sometimes surprising. And we're going to get into that. Now, I know there are many people who will roll their eyes when I tell them that gratitude changed my life. But it's so very true because it helps me see how some of the worst things that happened to me could be turned into a blessing. And I know that's hard to hear, especially if you're in an unhappy place right now. I'm not talking about pretending there are no challenges or darkness in the world, because this isn't some kind of airy-fairy thing. This is a practice of gratitude based on mindful thoughts and perspective on some of the most difficult situations in my life and others that I know. Stay with me, and I think you'll see what I'm talking about. According to the Positive Psychology article, these are some of the benefits of a gratitude practice: increased happiness and positive mood, more satisfaction with life, being less materialistic, being less likely to experience burnout, better physical health, better sleep, less fatigue, lower levels of cellular inflammation, greater resiliency, and it encourages the development of patience, humility, and wisdom. I would add that for me, when I'm in a state of gratitude, the level of calm I feel is deep and grounded, and I am so much less judgmental of myself and others. And it's why I continue to do the 30-day gratitude challenge every year, because it reminds me of how much better I feel when I live this way. This is especially important for me and people like me when we deal with seasonal depression that can be debilitating at this time of year. It's one more tool in the arsenal to keep my mood up and get through the day feeling good about myself and my life and not dragging myself through the day only to give up at lunch and flop on the couch for the afternoon. It also helps with difficult family members through the holidays, and lately it helps me get through the election cycle here in the US that has become so full of vitriol. Gratitude is truly a balm for the soul. But I'm not just talking about positive thinking here. When something is difficult, it's 100% okay to talk about it, especially if you're looking for solutions to your struggles. But gratitude keeps the struggle in perspective. You see, I detest when something is inconvenient or irritating, and people call it the worst. I've seen people call a paper cut or a hangnail the worst, which is absolutely ridiculous, and I hope they know that. I keep scrolling when I see that. But my thoughts are always like, really? that's the worst thing that has happened to you. What a lucky person you are. I know it's essentially hyperbole, but on the same day, I'm also seeing videos of people who have literally lost everything they own in the floods of eastern Tennessee and western North Carolina, who are grateful to be alive. Recently, I saw a video of a 92-year-old woman who has lived in that western North Carolina area since 1956. Her daughter and son in law drove over to check on her, and within minutes, they couldn't get back to their truck because the river by their house was rising so fast. They looked out the back door, and the water was pooling but not rushing yet. So they pushed their way out the back door and held on to each other as they climbed up the pasture in the backyard to their neighbor's house in the pouring rain. The end of that video shows the woman's house with water up to the roof and her son-in-law saying, "No, no, 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 no," as her house is washed away off its foundation down the mountain. That woman has nothing left, no worldly possessions, but she's grateful to be alive and is grateful that her family is alive. That's actually something I've seen and heard over and over. That people are just grateful to be alive, especially if their family made it, when they know so many others did not. Sometimes it takes something serious, like Hurricane Helene, to shake people up, to realize how blessed they are, while others can only wallow in the loss. And before you come at me, I have lived through our home being flooded 3 times. One was just a few inches of water, one was about a foot of water, and one was 4 feet of Mill Creek water. If you don't know what the Mill Creek is, Wikipedia defines it as the Mill Creek is a stream in southwest Ohio. It flows 28.4 miles or 45.7 kilometers southwest and south from its headwaters in Liberty Township of Butler County through central Hamilton County and the heart of Cincinnati into the Ohio River just west of downtown. The section of Interstate 75 through Cincinnati is known as the Mill Creek Expressway. Throughout Cincinnati's history, the Mill Creek has been the dumping ground of heavy industry until conservation efforts in right around the 70s. At the turn of the century, it was seen as a great open city sewer. In 1997, it was described as the most endangered urban river in America. There were no fish, E. coli was rampant, and it was dangerous to even float on that river, let alone swim in it. We had 4 feet of that water in our basement in the year 2000 and had to wade out of our home carrying a newborn baby and our very fluffy Chow Chow dog. Thankfully, see what I did there? There's that gratitude thing. Our older 2 boys were sleeping at a relative's house, so we didn't have to make 2 trips because that water was rising fast. Maybe because of my own dealings with floods, the situation in Western North Carolina has caught my attention. At first, the perspective was that no matter what inconvenience was happening in my life, at least I wasn't running for my life from a flood or left without power or water for days on end. That was especially helpful when we lost power from the same hurricane for a little over 24 hours. We got a little water in our basement from the heavy rains that Helene dropped in freaking Ohio. But it kept me in perspective. Then the relief efforts started. And through people I know that live in that area, I began to see people helping people, businesses helping people, or sharing what resources they had. The North Carolina National Guard stepping in to help, and of course, FEMA. I was equally amazed at the devastation and the stories of how people, businesses, the military, and the state and federal governments responded and are still responding. In a time of vitriolic politics, it was a wonderful thing to see that people who were helping and people being helped forgot about all of that and just took care of one another. It truly restored my faith in humanity and the country I remembered growing up in. And I pray that continues to be who we are, regardless of who gets elected next week. So let's talk about the 30 Days of Thanks Gratitude Challenge. If you don't follow the Moving Toward Better Facebook page, I suggest you do that starting today. I'll put the link for that in the notes of the podcast and description of the YouTube video. Every day in November, I'll be posting a gratitude post, something I'm grateful for that day. It may be something you're grateful for too, or it might spark something that you're grateful for. That's it. Although I would love if you interact with the posts, if it helps you or inspires you in some way. You just never know who else you might inspire. And who doesn't love a win-win? If you really want to dive in, get yourself a journal and write about something you're grateful for each day, and challenge yourself to write something different every day. You might be amazed how deeply you have to dig after a week or so. I know I did. But because I had to dig, I started thinking about what I do want in my life, what I do love in my life. And since this practice started, I've truly adjusted my life accordingly. It's part of why I created the Happiest Holidays Planner with my friend Janine Rose. We truly want you to have a holiday season filled with peace and joy and gratitude. And it's why we included pages in the planner to write down what you're grateful for so that you can revisit that in the future and see how your gratitude practice can deepen and grow in every part of your life. If you're not sure how to get started, here's some suggestions from the article that I mentioned earlier that I linked in the notes and the description. Number 1, journal about things, people, or situations in your life for which you are grateful. Consider including negative situations, like avoiding an accident, for instance. 2, think about someone for whom you are grateful that you may not know well, but you happen to know that they're doing great things in the world. Dolly Parton comes to mind for me. Number 3, write a gratitude letter or thank you note to someone for whom you are thankful. Even a short card can change someone's day, children included. Challenge yourself to write one handwritten note every week for a month. I did this, and it was actually pretty fun to hear back from those people. Not all of them responded, but most did, and it was really cool. Meditate on gratitude, also known as present moment awareness. And think about what's going on around you. Do you have heat? Is the sun out? The possibilities are endless. Number 5, do the count your blessings exercise. At the end of the day, write down 3 things for which you're grateful. Or think about it before you go to sleep. You woke up. You had hot water to shower in. You had food for your meals. Again, the possibilities are endless. Number 6, practice saying thank you in a real and meaningful way. Be specific. For example, thank you for taking the time to read this article and leave a comment. I enjoy reading your contributions because they broaden my understanding of the subject. Number 7, recall a negative event from your past that you're grateful for today. This one can be tricky, but for me, my divorce is one of those events for sure. I was so unhappy in my first marriage, and I have now been happily married for over 30 years. When my divorce was happening, I thought it was the worst thing in the world. Turns out, it was merely making way for the best thing that ever happened to me. Number 8, be mindful of your 5 senses. I remember the first time I put on glasses at age 7. Until then, I didn't know that you could see individual leaves on a tree, bricks in a building, or blades of grass. Our senses are amazing. Number 9, create visual reminders to practice gratitude. Put up sticky notes, different kind of notifications on your phone and your mirror. They're all great for this. So are digital photo frames, because you can see multiple images of moments in your life that are truly wonderful. On mine, I have pictures of my family, fun moments in life, and stunning photos we've taken while we're traveling. Sunsets are my particular favorite, and I've got a couple of absolutely amazing ones. The link for that photo frame is in the notes and the description as well. It's such a good one. Focus on the good that others have done on your behalf. That's number 10. Even if you'll never send them a note or a letter, there are probably people from your past that have positively impacted your life. Maybe it's a teacher, a coach, a former boss, neighbor, friend. You may never tell them about what they did, but you can cherish the memory and be glad it happened. Number 11, look for opportunities to feel grateful. They're there every day. This week, we were at Costco and we decided to wait for a primo spot where a couple were unloading their cart. As they got to the end of their unloading, I got out of the car and offered to take their cart since we were waiting for their spot. They were delighted not to have to return their cart, and we got the spot much quicker. The best part of the story is that after unloading our cart, someone offered to take our cart too. Not only at Costco, but later on the same day at Kroger. Pretty cool, huh? Number 12, go without something that you like or love for a little bit. This is why I've always liked the season of Lent. I have friends who grew up Catholic and a husband who did as well. And I always admired how my friends and husband gave things up for Lent. And it was usually something they really liked. I was so impressed that when my husband and I started dating, I started giving up things too. In some cases, like the year I gave up Cheetos because I was eating them every day, I didn't go back. And I knew that it was healthier for my body. In other cases, I couldn't wait to break that fast, like the year we gave up red meat. And contrary to popular belief, I never stopped craving it for the entire 40 days. And no, we are not the type of family that says you can have it on Sundays. In my husband's family, that's cheating. But I can tell you that the first bite of red meat on Easter Sunday, and probably for several months after that, every time I bit into a delicious meal, I was truly grateful for it. Now, I apologize to the vegetarians and vegans out there, but this body functions better with red meat. I tried and failed to take it out of my diet and ended up having to remove gluten instead because apparently that's what's not healthy for me. Oh well. So, are you ready to jump into the 30 Days of Thanks Gratitude Challenge with me? An entire month of gratitude can change so much of your life for good. So let's do this together. Leave a comment and let me know what you're grateful for today. And make it family friendly because that's what we're about here. Remember to share if you know someone who could benefit from this podcast. And like and subscribe for more personal development and practical tips to make your life the best it can be. Keep moving toward better, whatever that means for you. And know that I am grateful for each and every one of you. Love you all. At Moving Toward Better, it's our mission to help you unlock a fantastic life, powered by what's unique and authentically you. To learn how we can help you in your quest, head over to movingtowardbetter.com to check it out, or use the links in the show notes. Thanks for listening, thanks for being you, and have a great day. Love you all.